Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Talk Skin podcast. Even when I say that, it sounds really surreal, and being on like Spotify is even more crazy. Like, what the actual F? But yeah, we're here. So let's divulge on what's been going on at the Talk Skin Academy. Yesterday, I had a phenomenal meeting with a wonderful group of ladies. I say group two, and Valerie and Amy, and they have a consultancy business. Valerie been in the industry, beauty industry, for 30 years. Amy has run successful salons in the Essex area, and they've now kind of joined forces and are making waves in the consultancy arena, supporting salons, spas, businesses on their operational and their kind of financial goals, because I think so many therapists open up these wonderful salons, but they're not always maybe say business savvy. And so we were looking at how we could collaborate going forward for 2024, and what was meant to be a 2 to 3 hour meeting went on to 2 to 3 hours plus lunch plus cake, because it was Valerie's birthday over the weekend, and it was just a really great connection to have. And I talked about this on my Instagram about collaborating with fellow therapists and how it's a big taboo in the industry, and that every therapist that I speak to always feels like the girl down the road doing the same thing or a similar thing is a potential threat to her business or to their business. And I feel that this is a really negative way, or a way that shouldn't be thought of. And it was definitely something that has been around for a long time. But I think as a business, the best way to build a successful business is to collaborate with your fellow therapists, because as I mentioned, you're going to be, your passion will be one thing, and it could be you specialize in helping middle-aged ladies who are going through the menopause, who really suffer with bad acne, where they've had that acne before or it's new. That could be that could be your passion. And so somebody that comes into you who's got a totally different type of issue, maybe it's pigmentation and she's only in her 20s, and they come to you, but you don't really have maybe the skill set or the knowledge to be able to support that. But down the road, I know Claire with Pigmentation Skin Academy, I don't know, just throwing that out there, does specialize in pigmentation for all skin type, for all ages, and she gets phenomenal results. So what you could do is potentially work together and say, hey, look, my specialty is acne for middle-aged ladies. I can happily do a facial, but I know for a fact that if you go and see whoever I just created down the road, she's definitely your girl if you really want to see true results. Because then that way, when she gets somebody that is middle-aged and dealing with acne, guess what that lady down the road is going to do? She's going to say, hey, go to see you, because you specialize, you're knowledgeable, your treatments are specifically formulated to work on those concerns. And this is how then you build your brand. And this is how sometimes working as an individual, as a solo therapist, with an entrepreneurial kind of spirit, you sometimes can feel really lonely, and it can be daunting, and your family members don't always understand how you feel because they don't run their own business, or maybe they do, but it's in a different environment or a different industry, so they don't know the trials and tribulations that you're going through as a facialist or as a therapist, because they don't understand how difficult it is, because you've got to be everything and everyone to every single client. So you've got to be like a chameleon. And it's a really phenomenal industry, but it's hard. So being able to have that support from your fellow therapists, instead of looking at them like they're, oh my gosh, just there's another facialist just set up down the road, bitch. Instead of thinking that, you can think of, oh, how could we collab? It's a different mindset. And it'll also then make you feel, I think, a lot more positive towards your business. So it's just a food for thought, because I reached out to the ladies. I could quite easily, I do have a consultancy that does what they do, but my specialty is training. So I could see them as a threat, but I don't. I see them as an opportunity to either get in front of their customers, they can get in front of my customers, they can help my customers with areas of my business that I really just don't enjoy. I don't enjoy numbers. I do them, I can do them, I just don't enjoy them. And they they then, you know, do the numbers, but they then specialize in that, and they, you know, as Valerie said, she's done the training, it's over now. Her passions are the analysis, the business aspect, you know, the behind the scenes, you know, working with the management and the owners, and so my passion is training therapists to become the ultimate facialist or the ultimate therapist, and changing their mindset to become passionate, educational, inspired therapists. So this is how the collaboration went yesterday, and like I said, it was meant to be a 2-hour session, ended up being like a 6-hour session, but it was okay because, you know, it's going to hopefully bring good things for us in 2024. And I wanted just to say that collaborations are a huge thing for our industry, and if you haven't collaborated, then go reach out. I reached out to Valerie and Amy because I knew that they are a phenomenal company to be associated with and to potentially work with, and I could learn so much from them, and hopefully, you know, they've learned a few things from me. But yeah, it's definitely something to think about if you haven't, and don't be scared to reach out. And if they say no, then that's on them, that's not on you. And I think, you know, having that mindset is a great thing to do for 2024 especially. So that happened on a business note. On a personal note, me, Aurora and Miles went to Liverpool. Never been to Liverpool, love Titanic. Miles had a wedding, which I was meant to attend as well, but we couldn't get a babysitter. So me and my girl had a day to ourselves, which was phenomenal, but also highly stressful, because Liverpool is not buggy friendly. Just putting that out there. If you're going to Liverpool with a buggy, make sure you have pretty much like bike tire wheels on your pram, because the piddly ones that were on Aurora's, they had no chance. I was basically backing her up the whole time, like literally pushing her backwards. So she's having a great time. I, however, was slightly stressed because Liverpool was packed to the brim, and I went into Zara, and 2 seconds later I walked out of Zara. Even though I saw the most amazing little coat, I was like, no, queue huge. It was a disaster. So we ended up going to the winter fair, the winter kind of Christmas little like market, and that was really cute, really lovely, around this really old building, but again, freaking cobbles everywhere. So yeah, that was fun, with hot chocolate and trying to drag her backwards on the pram. Not great, guys, but it was what it was. We had a good time, and yeah, it was amazing. I love Liverpool. 100% I'm gonna go back. If you've not been there, go, because it's very cultural, it's very old school. I love all the old buildings. Like I love art, like architecture, like old architecture, all that kind of stuff, and it's definitely got a lot of that. A few areas of that not so great, but a lot of areas that are great. So yeah, so that's the update of what's been happening at Talk Skin, and that is, we're in November now, 2023. So just marking that, because if this is obviously the great thing about these podcasts is that, you know, somebody in a year's time could come upon me and be like, oh, what is this all about? So yes, so that has been what's been happening, and then I've had a lot of one-to-ones over the past couple of weeks, actually, with, you know, entrepreneurial individual solo therapists that are building their own clinics and salons, and it's really, really, really exciting, and it's really interesting to see how their mindsets work. And the one thing that they always ask the question is, how can you start making instant money? And the one thing that I talk about a lot is consultations, and it's the one thing that my membership that I really, really, really heavily lay down is the consultation experience for your customers. Now, when you go to college, when you go to college, you are told two things about your consultation, right? You are told that you need to make sure that they're medically safe and that you've got the signature so that they can't sue you afterwards, right? That's pretty much what the consultation in college's lecturers' eyes is all about. Now, if you go back a couple of episodes, you'll know that I used to work for Steiner, and Steiner are all about the retail, because all of the retail is given to them, and a lot of the service that we do is given to the cruise ship. So we have to make sure that we retail, and when you're in what they call the money making column, which is basically either anothermy, which is body electricals, or therapy, which is facial electricals. That was then, might have changed now, because I haven't been with Steiner for many, many years. Then basically you have to hit your targets, and they say retail targets. So I was doing around about 14 facials a day. So I got pretty good at facials quite quickly, because you do 14 hours of facials on Americans, they tell you the truth. It's the great thing about Americans, and the scariest thing about Americans is that when they love you and they tip you and they will buy whatever you say. But if they don't, they tell you, and you know, it's a great way to improve. And I improved a lot. So because I went straight from college into Steiner. But what I realized really freaking quickly is that the consultation is everything. So if you are really struggling to build momentum with your retail and build relationships with your clients so they keep coming back to you, it is down to your consultation, and you can change this almost immediately. So let me explain the system that I created that allowed me to be making between 2 to 5k in the UK a week, and between 7 and 15,000 a week in retail on the cruise ships. Bearing in mind, I was doing 14 hours of facials a day, okay? So I was working from 8 till 8 every single day, basically. So that's why I was able to make that type of money. But again, there was lots of facialists, well, there was tons of facialists that were struggling to make even 2k. So how did I do it? This is how I did it. Step 1, relationships. Relationships. People buy from people, okay? So the one thing that I see time and time again is facialists, but therapists, straight in with the sale. Straight in with, I'm using the best skincare, I'm using the best this, I'm using the best that. At this moment in time, that all that client is thinking is, oh Christ, what's she gonna try and sell me now? That's all they're thinking. Instead of trying to sell products and make the product sound amazing, do that for you. Make you sound amazing. And you do that by asking questions. Because like I mentioned, the whole point of a consultation in most therapists' eyes is to make sure they're medically safe and we've got the signature. So there's not many questions that you ask apart from, are you medically safe? And have you signed the signature? That's pretty much it, right? You know, how was your day? The usual type of questions, which I always say, avoid that question like the plague. How was your day? Top tip, don't ask that question, because guess what? If it's been a shit day, you're gonna get it. And then it's hard to get off that foot once you've gone down that alley. So avoid the day and rather say, are you looking forward to your facial, or are you needing this facial today, or are you needing this treatment today? Because that then go there, you can again, that tells you a lot. If they're like, oh my God, yes. And you can ask the question, oh my gosh, what's happened? What's been going on? Is it the job? Is it your husband? Is your kid driving you mad? Is Christmas around the corner? How's that going for you? You know, bring your personality into it. So build the relationship. Sell yourself first. Sell you. You know, don't sell your products. Yes, skincare tells you to sell your their products, but of course that's why they're multi-billion-dollar businesses, because they tell you to sell their products, and guess what? We sell their products, but you are your product. So sell you first. So build that relationship. The information that you need to bespoke your facial, and we're all about bespoke because bespoke's, you know, buzzword of the industry right now. We bespoke everything, but nobody ever does, because how can you bespoke something when you know nothing about your client, right? So the information you need to be able to bespoke and create the ultimate facial experience only comes from likability. If your clients like you and trust you, they tell you and divulge their information. For instance, if they're stressed because their husband's been an asshole and they don't really know you yet, they're not going to tell you that because they don't trust you. So when you're saying, how's your stress levels? Like, yeah, that's all right. If you get those types of answers, it's because they don't trust you. You haven't done the fundamentals, which is build that relationship, build it. So what you need to then do is you need to build it. Ask the questions. Okay, tell me a bit more about, about your skin. What's its personality? How do you find that you're, what's going on in your life? Tell me a bit more about you. What's your hobbies? What's your interests? Maybe you find common ground. Maybe they like walking and going for coffee. I love that. Like, I found a little place down the road that does this. Boom, you've built a relationship, right? That's what you're doing. Don't go hard into the sale. Like, avoid that. Like, everybody tells you to do that. It doesn't work. Please stop doing it because it's ruining your business. Build that relationship. Sell you first. So you've done all that, you've done it bloody good, you've connected on some level, whether it's a park or in fact you've got both a 2-year-old and they don't sleep, whatever it is, the story is. Then you're going to go into the information. So now they like you. They're going to say, right, I like you, so I'm going to tell you a bit more about me. I'm going to divulge that information. That, this information is sacred. So don't feel like this is just information. This is information that they're giving to you that maybe even their best mates don't know. Like, they don't know. Some people just don't tell anyone anything, whether they're having a bad problems in their marriage. Like, that's personal shit. So, if you want that information, you need to earn it. So what you need to do then is, get that information. Okay, so you and your husband are not doing too well at the moment. Is that a phase? Is that something that, you're finding is affecting your skin? Are you eating badly because of it? Or are you exercising more? Like, how is it affecting you? And what is it making you do more of that maybe is causing a slight problem for your skin? Because what I want to be able to do is make sure that I know everything, because certain ingredients could be really active and maybe your skin right now is not ready for those activities. And so we want to maybe do more relaxing facial with more nurturing, relaxing ingredients rather than high intensity ingredients that could potentially cause your skin to go woof. Having that kind of conversation, and they'll be like, holy cow, I've never been given this consultation before in my life. Like, this is interesting stuff. And guess what? They start to lean in. Tell me more, tell me more. Then they become interested in you because you're like, I've never had a consultation like this before in my life. Nobody asks me these types of questions. You've intrigued me. So what happens is, if you've got a client that's like this, then guess what? You ain't gonna get shit from them. But the more you open up to yourself, and the more you divulge why you're asking these questions, it goes from this to... And basically, they're sitting in your lap by the end of the consultation. So information next. Get that information, because then you're going to educate. So like I just mentioned, like when you've got a client that basically giving you everything is because they trust you. I mean, you do get those chatty people that just pretty much tells you their universe anyway. And obviously you've got to be aware of that for time preferences, because we've all got time issues. That's the thing with the beauty world, right? But at the same time, you don't want to you just got to lead the conversation. Lead that conversation into getting the information you need. The education then, okay, so you're really stressed at the moment. Your skin's reacting to that stress. We're not going to use a very active, you booked in for this facial, but I think actually I'm going to change that facial. It's still going to have the same type of results, but we're going to use less activity on your skin because of what you're going through. Does that sound okay? So you're getting their approval. So at the end of it, they go, well, I didn't ask for that facial. I wanted that facial. You've explained why you've actually changed the facial because of their lifestyle and how it could affect their skin and cause it to maybe erupt. Like, these are the things that maybe you might be going through. Explaining, why pores aren't bloody closing, because they don't. Because everyone else has told them it does. Salicylic acid does not close pores. It helps clean the pore out, which then allows the pore to become smaller but not closed. And all these little things, so you can talk them through the education. So again, they're building on trusting you as their now go-to expert for not just skin, but for facials as well. And then at the end, you recommend. The recommendation is that you're going to change the facial. That's where the recommending stops. And then the question that you should ask every single client, this is the top tip for opening your sale at the end. The question you ask every client: I'm going to go and give you the best damn facial I can possibly give you. And at the end of the facial, would you like me to go through what I found and how you need to maybe change certain things in your lifestyle as well as in your skincare routine to help get the skin that you want and we've talked about today? This is important, because this is either where they say, yes, I want to know. They'll say, yes, I want to know, if you've built the relationship, gained their trust by getting the information from them and educating them all the issues that they're dealing with and how it could be affecting their skin through lifestyle and stress and maybe skincare. You've done all that. They're going to say yes if you've done all those three things. If they turn around and say, no, I'm not interested, then when somewhere along the line, you failed to maybe hit a nerve or to hit a point. And then from there, you know that you either have opened the sale or the sale has not been opened yet. Doesn't mean that you can't recommend. It just means that they don't believe in you quite yet. And that's when you can really wow them with your facial. So you get them on the bed, You do your facial, you do exactly what you told them that you're going to do so that, you know, you're meeting expectations. And then afterwards, if the facial is done beautifully, they would have bought into you. Already, if they said yes, you're then going to get them off the bed. You're not going to, if they're on the bed, do not, for God's sake, try and recommend to them as they've just woken up from their facial. It happens so often. Guys, please, if you had just had a facial and you're lying there half dazed because you've just created the most amazing, you just had the most amazing facial, half naked or sometimes naked, you're pretty vulnerable at that point. And the last thing you want is a facialist hovering over you going, how's your facial? This is the skincare products that I want to recommend to you. Like, it happens every single day. Like, it happens all the time. So don't do it. Another top tip, please don't do it. Get them off the bed. Let them come around. Sit them down back where you started this whole process, where you opened the sale, where you asked that question, can I basically recommend to you afterwards, by saying, would you like me to go through what I've found out at the end? You now sat them back down. They've told you that was phenomenal. You can tell it's phenomenal. The results are phenomenal. And I go, okay. And maybe that person who said no, go, okay, I'm interested. That was phenomenal. That was the best facial I've ever had. What do you think my skin needs? And these are the questions that I used to get asked. You know, if someone maybe hadn't quite bought into me because maybe I hadn't quite hit any of those triggers, my facials, I know for a fact, would cement the opening of a sale for them at the end. And if they had already said yes, then all I needed to do was give them my 3-tier recommendation card that would give them choices of what they wanted to go for to get to the next level with their skin. And that will go into at another time. But that is how you build your business, with repeat custom with your facials, with guaranteed like recommendations to every friend and family member they have, and you're guaranteed some sort of retail out of it. For a fact, like, you will get all of those things because you're not going after that. What you're going after is to build a relationship and basically make you their number one go-to for when they're stressed, when they've got bad skin, because you're building questions that allow them to trust you. You are the biggest asset in your treatment room, not your products, not your equipment. I always say this, right? You've got a chef that you absolutely love. I don't think Gordon Ramsay, for instance, right? You go into Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, Michelin star restaurant, you've saved up and you're going there. You're not going there for the equipment. You're not going there for the kitchen, are you? You're not going there for the ingredients. You're going there because this chef, Gordon Ramsay, creates the most amazing looking food that tastes divine. That's how you need to think about. Gordon Ramsay doesn't sell what he's using. He tells you what he's using, but he doesn't sell it to you when he watches cooking programs. He doesn't sell that. He sells his knowledge, his expertise, his skill set. So you buy into him. And then yes, you can then go and buy his knives because, maybe I'll cut the peppers the way that he cuts it and it tastes much nicer. It never does, because it's all down to the skill set of the chef, right? And that's what you've got to think about for your business. You have to think that you are the artiste in your treatment room. Like, if this was a kitchen, you are the artiste, not the product, not the actual equipment. Because if me and, Heston Blumentine, you had the same products, the same chopping knives, the same cookers, the same, spatulas, are we going to create the same offering? No. Even if we had the manual in front of us, we had to follow the manual, are we going to create the same experience, the same taste? No, because what Heston knows is those little details, how to make the butter, at what temperature. He'll know secrets that I will never know, because I haven't spent 30 years of my life learning the craft. I've just spent 5 minutes learning it. And this is what you've got to think about, is that you have to sell you and you have to sell your craft. Because like I said, if two facialists are in the same room, if I say I go up against a facialist who's just come into the industry, they've got the same equipment, the same look and feel that I've got here at the academy, is she going to create the same experience as I am? No, because I have learned my craft over the past 20 years from messing up a lot, from getting feedback, positive and negative, a lot of negative when I first started, because I didn't know anything. I literally just knew how to, I went straight from college, straight to Steiner, and they were pretty good at teaching you, but it's the intricate details that make a experience phenomenal. And this is what you now need to focus on. So for 2024, going back to what my one-to-ones were saying, consultations, but also instead of investing in products and in equipment to level up your experience, which costs not hundreds, but thousands and thousands of pounds, actually don't do that. Go and focus on working on your skill set, learning about the details that make you phenomenal, like say Heston and say, Gordon Ramsay. They know it's the little details that I always say make the biggest difference. Like for instance, when I go for I do a lot of secret shops for spas, right? And then I do a whole audit from the moment that I decide that I'm going to book a treatment to the moment I get there, like all the customer journey, from point A to point B being then the treatment itself. And I walk through it all with them, and I go through how they can improve and things like that. And for me, like it's always the little details that impact my journey. So at the end of it, if everything has been thought of, I would spend hundreds on it, 100%. Like I want them to succeed, but 99.9% of the time, even with the best spas in the UK, there's always things lacking. It's whether, it's the booking system is lacking. It's not easy to find the menu. I don't know how hard it is to find a menu on a spa website, hotel website. Holy cow. It's always down the bottom, and then they wonder why the spa's not making any money. Because it's impossible to find the freaking spa menu. Like literally, it's so hard. I'm like, where is the spa menu? And then when you find it, they make it impossible to get into it. I'm like, what is going on here? What's the deal? Like, I thought you wanted to make money. Apparently not. So make sure your menu is really easy to find, like literally so easy to find, so that your clients are like, oh, there's the menu. Oh, that's what I get. Always make sure the times and the prices. Again, I don't know how many people don't put their prices on it or their timings. It's crazy. Explain what exactly is going to go on with the menu. We can go into this because I'm going off track now, but it's always the little details. When I ring up customers and find out why they haven't returned back to that spa or why they haven't returned back to that therapist, it's always, they're like, it was good facial, it wasn't enough to bring me back because every other facialist is good, so I'm trying other facials. So basically it didn't tempt them enough to go back again, like because it was like every other facialist out there or facial out there, and that's what I get. So it's the little details. Like I was explaining to Valerie and to Amy yesterday, like when I do my mentorships and I help therapists set up their businesses, like, we talk about all of this and we get this all set up. So it's like a 3-month mentorship where I literally take them from nothing to having everything ready so they can launch their business. Like the booking system for me is a huge part of the overall experience, because, if you don't really know what you're booking, then you're not going to book, right? You're going to be hesitant and you're going to be worried that you've booked the wrong thing and it's costing you X amount of money. Like, oh, is this what I should be booking? I don't know. And this is the stuff that your clients are thinking about all the time. So go and check it out. Like, go check it out, what's going on with your menu, because the menu a lot of the time is one of the reasons why people don't book. So yeah, it's the little things for me that really do make the biggest difference, and especially in an industry that's saturated with lots of therapists. Some qualified, some accredited. Nothing wrong with accredited if you're being with the right person. Like I do an accredited course, and I know my course is phenomenal and it creates phenomenal therapists. But unfortunately, there are training sessions out there that are like 5 hours, and you're a facialist. Like, it's insane. Like if you avoid those facial courses like the plague, please. Like my accredited course is 24 hours. It's not 6-7 hours. It's 24 hours. It's intense. So yeah, so that's what I would say. That's the lessons for today, is collaborate with your fellow therapists that are solo therapists that also have a goal. Hang out with them, feed off them, learn what they've, learn their mistakes. They can learn off your mistakes. Like, rally together to build successful businesses, right? And then consultations. Consultations are everything for your business. If you don't know how to do them, then why don't you just go, like, the one thing I'd say is I have the Skin Expert consultation course. So everything that I've talked about today, it's all in there. But it's also the education on the fundamentals. Because again, most therapists fundamentally on the skin anatomy are not great. So if you want to be able to really wow your clients and start charging for your consultations, which most of my memberships, most of the girls in the membership are now doing, anywhere between 25 and 70 quid for an hour of consultations, which is phenomenal. Which then means that they're not attached to their business all the time. They can be anywhere and still do and make money. Then, you know, go and do the Skin Expert consultation course. It's $350 and it will change your whole way of looking at consultations, and it will increase your retail, it will increase your return custom, it will increase your views, it will increase your tips. It literally increases everything. Your business just goes up, 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 up. Like, I promise you, it works. That's on a website. You can go and get that and download that, and you've got instant access. It's evergreen. So, and it's for life. You've got it for life, so you can keep going over it and over it and over it. So do that. If you're feeling you're struggling with your consultations and your knowledge of skin, that's where you go to next. And the next one is go through your checkpoints. Every client has a checkpoint. Find out, you know, and go through your whole customer experience checkpoint and see what is maybe potentially lacking. And if you're not quite sure, then you know who to come to. Me. Like, I literally do this every single day for solo therapists to 5-6 star spas. Like, everybody is treated the same because I want you to succeed. So if you are interested in working more closely with me, then just get in touch. But hopefully you've got a lot of golden nuggets from today. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. And if you have anything that you want me to talk about or any stories that you want to hear, then just get in touch, let me know what they are, and I will put them on the next couple of podcasts. So have a great December, everyone, because it is just coming to the end of November, and look forward to talking soon. Okay, bye.